Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is the end of the week. It's Friday, September 6th. Today is day 336 since the attacks by Hamas on October 7th. I learned early this morning that the Turkish-American activist, a woman who was 26 years old, Aysenur Ezgi Aygi, was shot and killed, believed by Israeli forces in the occupied West Bank. It's believed that it was with a live bullet to her head, according to local media. That happened yesterday. I first read the news in Al Jazeera. Haaretz reported that she was participating in a demonstration in Beita near Nablus. According to Palestinian reports, the director of Rafidia Hospital, to which Aygi was taken, said that she was shot in the head with a live round. The Israeli Defense Forces said it responded with fire towards a main instigator of violent activity who hurled rocks at the forces and posed a threat to them, adding that it's looking into claims that a foreign citizen was killed by gunfire. The U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Jack Lewis, said we offer our deepest condolences to her family and loved ones. We're urgently gathering more information about the circumstances of her death. We'll have more to say as we learn more. The White House said it is deeply disturbed by Aygi's death, adding that the U.S. has reached out to Israel to ask for more information about the incident, and it's requesting an investigation. The Turkish Foreign Ministry said, we've learned with deep regret that our citizen has been killed by the Israeli occupation forces. The Associated Press reported that the Israeli soldiers killed an American woman demonstrating against settlements on Friday. Two protesters who witnessed the shooting told the Associated Press 2 doctors said that she'd been shot in the head. The U.S. government confirmed her death. They did not say whether or not she had been shot by Israeli troops. The White House said it was deeply disturbed. She was also a Turkish citizen. Turkey, their foreign minister said that their country will exert all effort to ensure that those who killed their citizen is brought to justice. The Israeli military said it's looking into reports that the troops had killed a foreign national while firing at an instigator of violent activity in the area of protest. I will just note that according to international law, occupied people do have the right of violent resistance, and there are some forms of resistance that would say that throwing stones against military occupying powers is not even considered violent. That's not our position at Churches for Middle East Peace, but this news is just utterly, utterly atrocious. It is astounding. It is the latest, and just devastating, devastating news. So wanted to be sure to let you know that. In terms of hostages and ceasefire news, Prime Minister Netanyahu said yesterday he does not believe a ceasefire hostage deal is likely. There's not a deal in the making, he told Fox News, in a rebuke of the Biden administration's insistence that a deal is near. That's what we're hearing from Prime Minister Netanyahu. Listen to what we heard from Secretary Blinken. He said that 90% of the terms of Gaza and the ceasefire deal are agreed upon. He did say critical gaps remain, including the issue of the Philadelphia corridor, which runs on the border with Egypt. Blinken added he expects in coming days we will share with Israel, and they, Qatar and Egypt, will share with Hamas our thoughts, the 3 of us, on how to resolve the remaining issues. Last we heard there was going to be this one end-all be-all deal from Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. It was going to be kind of the last attempt for Hamas and Israel, kind of a last chance. Otherwise, the U.S. was going to stop engaging, in this last chance proposal. We've not heard that in recent days. Hamas published a video of the murdered Israeli-American hostage, Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, in which he calls on President Biden, Antony Blinken, and fellow American citizens to do everything in their power to stop the war, stop this madness, and bring me home now. As you know, Hirsch, it's believed, was shot in the head last Thursday or Friday, just a week ago. His body was recovered by Israeli Defense Forces last weekend. His parents issued a statement saying the video must serve as an immediate wake-up call to the world to take action today to secure the release of the remaining 101 hostages before it's too late. Of course, it's believed that not that many of the 101 hostages are still alive. German newspaper Bild reported that the document detailing Hamas's strategy for ceasefire negotiations in the war was allegedly found on a computer belonging to the organization's leader, Yahya Sinwar. The document, dated spring 2024, shows that Hamas has been weakened militarily, but that its main goal to weaken Israel internationally and leverage hostages against the Israeli government internally through pressure on the hostages' family and the Israeli public. The document also reported details of Hamas's plan to propose that an Arab force be stationed in Gaza as a buffer to prevent Israel from re-entering the Strip after a ceasefire, as well as how the group will prematurely place blame on any failures in negotiations on Israel. Netanyahu visited the family of Eden Yerushalmi and Ori Danino, whose bodies were recovered from Gaza last Saturday after being murdered by Hamas in captivity. Ronen and Orna Nutra, the parents of Israeli-American hostage Omer Nutra, told the Republican Jewish Coalition Conference in Las Vegas, they feel caught up in a geopolitical nightmare and our son and the hostages are not the top priority. Our position at Churches for Middle East Peace is that the end of all violence and all death must be the priority. That already the deaths of more than 40,000 people in Gaza, which the ICJ has said is a possible genocide. Palestinians are saying, how can it not be? Our position is at a minimum, it's an ethnic cleansing. The death and killing of all civilians in Gaza, hostages, those being held unjustly in Israeli prisons, these are all things that must be brought to an end. 5 Palestinians were killed by an Israeli airstrike on their vehicles yesterday in the West Bank, Palestinian news sources reported, as one of the most destructive recent Israeli military aids in the occupied West Bank continued for a 9th day, referring to the raids of Israeli military primarily in Jenin. Bana Laboum, a 13-year-old, was shot dead by Israeli Defense Forces fire in the village of Karut in the central West Bank. Laboum's father, Amjad, told the Palestinian news agency that she was hit while at home with her sisters. According to eyewitnesses, clashes erupted in the village between IDF and Palestinians after Israeli settlers threw stones and set fields on fire. Israeli settlers set fire to vehicles and vandalized property this morning in 2 Palestinian villages east of Ramallah. And Israeli forces have withdrawn from the cities of Jenin and Tulkarem after 10 days of operating in the West Bank in those military incursions. According to the health ministry in Palestine, in Ramallah, 21 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in Jenin since August 28th. Those incursions in broader areas, as of a few days ago, had killed at least 33 people. The humanitarian situation in Gaza is beyond catastrophic. More than 1 million people did not receive food rations in August in South and Central Gaza through humanitarian means, UN spokesperson Jajarek said. The death toll in Gaza, as of the latest numbers, are at least 40,878 Palestinians killed since October 7th, and those wounded 94,454. Israeli military attacks have continued to target homes in northern and central Gaza, killing at least 17 people in the last 24 hours, according to Al Jazeera. And the UN's refugee agency said that the polio vaccination campaign that's underway has protected 355,000 children against the disease thus far. You'll recall that this latest first vaccination is one of 2. The next one needs to take place in a month. 2 anti-tank missiles fired from Lebanon hit the Metula area of northern Israel, and one hit a hotel with no casualties. The IDF said fighter jets attacked Hezbollah targets in South Lebanon. IDF Chief of Staff Halevi held a situation assessment on Israel's border with Lebanon and said the military is very focused on fighting Hezbollah and is preparing for offensive moves. There is concern that that could mean an incursion into Lebanon. The Israeli Air Force struck in towns in southern Lebanon, according to Arab news sources. In Israel, 2 Bedouin Israelis said IDF soldiers stopped their car, intimidated them, physically assaulted them with rifles while they were traveling on Route 60 in the occupied West Bank earlier this week on Tuesday. According to the 2 men, when they were asked to go back south to receive medical assistance, one of the soldiers threatened to shoot them. The IDF said they were unaware of the incident, but that military police would investigate it. The International Criminal Court chief prosecutor yesterday told the BBC that justice must be seen to be done after issuing an arrest warrant for both Israeli leaders and Hamas leaders. He stressed it's important to show the court would hold all states to the same standard in relation to alleged war crimes. That was according to the BBC. That's the news as we head into the weekend. Might God go before us. Might peace come quickly. In the name of Christ, amen.